Trump tells the economy is strong, blames Biden for nation struggles. Oh boy, this will be interesting. He did this, I believe, at 9 o'clock tonight. So, which is, yeah, so it's still the 17th. So, hey, this video came out 40 minutes ago, 58 minutes ago. The Trumpstein files. Yeah, I don't think he's going to talk about that, but we'll see. First off, I do like the Christmas stuff. Very nice.
Good evening, America. 11 months
The
ago,
content
I
president.
inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it. When I took office, inflation was the worst in 48 years, and some would say in the history of our country, which caused prices to be higher than ever before, making life unaffordable for millions and millions of Americans. This happened during a Democrat administration, and it's when we first began hearing the word affordability. Our border was open, and because of this, our country was being invaded by an army of 20.
That's mainly why Donald Trump won, was because the Democrats allowed that border to just get wide open. Like, if they had that under control, I don't know if he has as good of a chance to win. I mean, maybe he still would have. You never know with this shit, but I really do believe the Democrats just didn't give him the biggest thing that he could use, because that was how he won this first term mainly. He was this anti-establishment at the time. He was anti-establishment. He was against the system, drain the swamp. This very much of like this rallying of the Republican Party.
5 million people,
and they did. And
many who came
they
from
just gave him that
and
again, which again till this day I do not understand why they did. I really don't. I don't know why my thing crashed there.
jails, mental institutions, and insane asylums. They were drug dealers, gang members, and even 11,888 murderers, more than 50% of whom killed more than one person. This is what the Biden administration allowed to happen to our country.
I never understand
and it can
or
never
understood
be
why they
allowed
did
to
that.
happen again. We had men playing in women's sports, transgender for everybody, crime at record levels with law enforcement, and words such as that just absolutely forbidden. We had the worst trade deals ever made, and our country was laughed at from all over the world. But they're not laughing anymore.
That's true.
Over the past 11 months, we have brought more positive change to Washington than any administration in America.
I just don't think I think what my biggest issue is that I don't think the GOP has done enough. Like, Trump wants to get this voter ID done. He wants to fix a lot of these states and how they run some of their crap, because like immigration's all over the place here. People that aren't citizens who are walking around taking from the system, and I say that it's because they're not paying taxes. Yeah, some of them maybe are, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that are good citizens, but if there was a reduction right now, right, we would see relief in our medical system. Potentially wages in medical would go up to 20 to 30%. We would see more job opportunities. We would see, I want him to tax. See, the thing he's not doing is getting rid of H-1B visas. I believe that there's a value with having the highest quality, skilled, foreign-born people coming in. But at the same time, we can use them. I would say like nine months to a year. We have them train their replacements, train a bunch of people, and then once we get enough quality Americans that know how to do it, we should get rid of them. He's not doing that because that will hurt business in a lot of ways. But he is kind of going after them by raising I believe he's the Trump gold card. Some people like it, others don't. Look, he's making it harder. The option's still there, but it's like if you really want someone that's a skilled laborer, or you really want to use the H-1B visa program, you got to pay the toll. And in some ways, if corporations are willing to puck up $1 million, or the individual is willing to pay $2 million, that's fine. That's $2 million that's going towards the United States. So I'm not really against that.
In history, there's never been anything like it, and I think most would agree. I was elected in a landslide, winning the popular vote and all 7 swing states and everything else.
Yeah, he swept in the. He did a great job in the election.
To take on a sick and corrupt system that really just took the wealth from people and crushed the dreams of the American people. For the last 4 years, the United States was ruled by politicians who fought only for insiders, illegal aliens, career criminals, corporate lobbyists, prisoners, terrorists, and above all, foreign nations, which took advantage of us at levels never seen before.
I still believe that we're dealing with a lot of those problems still. Like I don't think the GOP has done anything to prove to themselves that they have changed or they have done good. Like they can't get anything through. The only thing they did was add the big beautiful bill, which if we can break it down, yeah, there's maybe some things about it that are good, but it did overall add more money to the debt. That was one of the biggest things he won on, right? Was that we wanted him to go into government, cut it down, get rid of a lot of the bullshit that we're uselessly spending on, and then you guys turn around and pass a bill that adds to the deficit. I understand that this was the Republicans being able to push a bill that with all their wants and needs that they got. The problem is I wish these bills were simpler. I don't want to say maybe a one issue, one vote type system, but we needed to chop it down where you can't just throw 90. They were trying to, I remember at the time they were trying to sell off federal land, like parks and stuff like that. I don't want to see corporations, because the argument was that the corporations, yeah, they were going to buy up the land and build towns, build homes, and all that stuff. We know that's not what would have happened. We know that they would not have done. I don't believe in selling off public land that's federally protected to private industry to see them turn around and not benefit anybody. But the people got together on that. We voiced our concerns, and that was over, and that was taken out. And there's a bunch of things that were good about it, a bunch of things that were bad about it. But overall, my main problem I didn't like about it was that the fact that it added money to the deficit, because we need to bring that down, because we can't just keep ignoring this issue at all. We can't, or the deficit needs to get addressed somehow, and that's what Trump really needs to get on. But can't really do anything if the Republicans are fighting with each other. Just reminds me of the first term. Same thing. Trump had a lot of policy, he had a lot of ideas, a lot of these executive orders. None of them could get finalized or official because the Republicans could not agree to get anything done. And then they lost the House and stuff like that. It's going to be the same issue. They're gonna lose the midterm election because Republicans have failed to do anything, and they're not listening to anybody on this. So they're gonna lose the midterm election, and then we're gonna see it go back to the Democrats, and then we're gonna see nothing for 2.5 years, 3 years, and the system repeats. Constant cycle, constant carousel.
They flooded your cities and towns with illegal aliens. They decimated your hard-earned savings. They indoctrinated your children with hate for America. They just released.
Oh, and yeah, we're still going after, like, there's a foreign government that's definitely, here, working with us. The relationship with Israel is definitely, you can add a lot of question marks on it. Now, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Like, I don't mind having an ally over there in the Middle East, but I want to know if the ally is truly benefiting us, or is it just getting us into other wars, right? Like, I don't really necessarily believe that us attacking Iran was us doing it because we thought it was a good idea. Was it a foreign government telling us to do it? You see what I'm saying?
A level of violent.
How much of our best interest was
we
that?
had never seen, to prey on innocent. They caused war. They caused mayhem. They caused a horrible situation all over the globe. But now you have a president who fights for the law-abiding, hardworking people of our country, the ones who make this nation run, who make this nation work. And after just 1 year, we have achieved more than anyone could have imagined. Starting on day one, I took immediate action to stop the invasion of our southern border. For the past 7 months, 0 illegal aliens have been allowed into our country, a feat which everyone said was absolutely impossible.
That's what we should have been doing.
Do you remember when Joe Biden said that he needed Congress to pass legislation to help close the border? He was always blaming Congress and everyone else. As it turned out, we didn't need legislation. We just needed a new president.
He's not wrong about that. If Biden really wanted, he was letting them all in. He was telling the federal government, or telling the National Guard members to lift up the border. Remember in Texas? He was like, let them all in. It's no big deal. There's no issues with this. No checks and balance. We're maybe catching them, but we're also releasing them back into the system. So he's 100% right on that. We should have tackled this. Biden should never have let this immigration issue get as bad as it did. The numbers, they're letting in 2 million people, 3 million people. They didn't care. They're letting everyone in. When has that ever been acceptable? Even Biden, if he was 20 years ago, Biden would have disagreed with what old Biden did. That's the thing. So, like, was he even really there? Was he all in the head? I agree with the auto pen stuff. Like, like, why would Biden pardon Fauci, right? Does that make any sense?
We inherited the worst border
What did
anywhere
Fauci
in the
do?
world, and we quickly turned it into the strongest border in the history of our country. In other words, in a few short months,
the border's in a good place right now.
Worst to best. We're deporting criminals, restoring safety to our most dangerous cities. Just take a look at Washington, D.C. It's at levels of safety that we've never seen before.
I actually have seen videos from, I haven't obviously been to D.C. myself in a few years now. Last time I was there was when Obama was president. But I have seen videos from people who live in D.C. and they're saying how much they like it. They're saying how clean it is. They're saying, oh, I can walk around this place again. Can't say the same thing about Chicago. Can't say the same thing about New York.
The bloodthirsty foreign drug cartels, we did that all by ourselves with our people, and we're so proud of it because they were poisoning and destroying our population. Drugs brought in by ocean and by sea are now down 94%.
Wow.
We have broken the grip of sinister woke radicals in our schools, and control over those schools is back now in the hands of our great and loving states where education belongs. After rebuilding the United States military.
Yeah, I mean, there are some things about the Department of Ed that was good. At the same time, I'm also okay with giving the power back to the states. We were just wasting money in the department, and at the same time, kids got dumber. Like, reading scores have gone down. Kids can't do math. Kids can't do really anything now. There's probably so many adults who right now can't even read. So, with the No Child Left Behind policy, I believe that was passed somewhere in late 2000s. Now we have plenty of data and stuff like that we can look back at. Did it really work? Were the kids actually learning, or were we just forcing them to move forward, right? Like memorizing, right? Like, were we actually having kids utilize these abilities that they were learning, or were we just having them forget it? And I think it was leaning more on the fact that we were having them forget it. It was just memory retention. That's all schooling's been. There's no critical thinking, there's no conversation, there's no debate, there's no quorum, there's nothing. How did these kids learn? How do these kids learn actual valuable skills? We're not teaching kids taxes. We're not teaching kids any of that. We may brush it over, but then we're talking about y mx plus b, whatever it is. See, I remember some of it, but I haven't really utilized a lot of it. Even when I was working for two corporations, like my fields were, we really didn't do much with them. I mean, there's definitely an argument to say that has the Department of Ed done good? Has it made kids smarter? Has it made kids better? No? Okay then, so let's get rid of it. Because it ain't working. It's okay to downsize some things that are just useless. And if the states actually, now the problem is we're putting pressure back to the states, and now we're trusting them to do it. So it kind of goes hand in hand. It's like, obviously you have the right people in government, then you can trust the federal government. But the federal government isn't doing a good job at it, and now we're seeing kids get stupid, or this stupid ideology just infect school systems, and they're indoctrinating kids. Like, I mean, I was in a college campus. I saw the fucking mess and how totally hypocritical these professors were. Totally hypocritical. I mean, I legit a professor tell me in a poli-sci class that all conservative media is fake and bad, and all liberal media is good. She said it just flat out. Like, it's one thing not agreeing with what the conservative opinions are. And by the way, I'm not saying that every single one of these news outlets, like Fox News and stuff, is accurate. Because they're wrong. They can all be wrong. But to be totally biased towards one side over the other just makes no sense. You are a professor. You are teaching. You have to be fair. You're literally talking about journalism. And you're being biased? Come on. It was disgusting, and that's what we all see. We all know it.
In my first term,
we all know teachers that when they're teaching, they're not actually being objective when they're talking about the topic. They're just being totally biased because of their opinions. We've all had teachers like that. We know. I know so many people that literally, like including myself, that have had to lie and how I am saying, like we were talking, remember when the class called American Studies? Pretty much just saying how what America did was bad, everything we've done is bad, this is bad, white people are horrible. And you pretty much have to like write a paper that fits their agenda, and if you simply say anything otherwise, they'll mark you down. That's so common. And I think there was a school in I think Oklahoma, one of the Oklahoma schools, this got like a teacher got fired because some girl wrote in her paper something about Christianity or whatever. I don't know the exact topic or what it wrote or what if it was relative to what they were writing about. I believe it was. But that's just what I'm talking about. Is that why are we being biased here? College system, the whole college system, the whole education system is supposed to be beneficial. It's supposed to be learning. It's supposed to be asking the right questions and debating, not just shutting down opinions, which is what half of this shit was.
And with the addition we are adding right now, we have the most powerful military anywhere in the world, and
That's
it's
true.
not even close.
It's not even.
I've restored American strength, settled 8 wars in 10 months, destroyed the
That's
Iran
true.
nuclear threat, and ended the war in Gaza.
Yeah, I mean, look, I maybe Iran was a threat. I just hope we did it for the correct intentions, right? That's all. I hope we just weren't listening to a foreign government telling us to do it for X reasons. I was hoping that we did it of our own accord, which I don't necessarily believe that.
Bringing for the first time in 3,000 years peace to the Middle East and secured the release
Is
of
the
the
Middle East
hostages,
peaceful?
both living and dead. Here at home, we're bringing our economy back from the brink of ruin. The last administration
You're
and
not
their
publishing the
allies in
unemployment
Congress
numbers.
looted our treasury for trillions of dollars, driving up prices and everything at levels never seen before. I am bringing those high prices down and bringing them down very fast. Let's look at the facts. Under the Biden administration,
Let's look at them.
Car prices rose 22% and in many states 30% or more. Gasoline rose 30 to 50%. Hotel rates rose 37%. Airfares rose 30%.
Our buying power. If you just think about the buying power 5 years ago when you guys were going to McDonald's, like I remember going to McDonald's, looking at the dollar menu. Me and my buddies used to literally buy like $1 a burger. We used to get like 10 cheeseburgers and then maybe throw a few McChickens in there just because they were like $1.25. We used to get like a large fry and a large drink. We were maybe paying max for like 10 cheeseburgers, 2 McChickens. What, it was about $15. Now $15 now gives me like, a meal. Just one meal. I was able to buy 10 cheeseburgers for that amount and a large fry and a large drink. I can work a bullshit job 5 years ago and I had more money to spend, more money to do things with. So I do believe that there was, COVID had a lot to do with this, a little bit outside of Biden, but I do believe that Biden and Trump are sharing a similar economy in a lot of ways. I mean, Trump is currently dealing with the same thing as Biden's dealing with. The economy's looking great. The numbers are telling you that it looks great, but the people are not feeling it. That's why I don't believe that even with doesn't matter with Trump, you can put a Democrat there next year. That's why I don't believe that they're tackling these issues. Yeah, I think cost of living has gotten a little better in some cases. Like obviously, we're at the grocery store. I'm not paying what was it, $5, $6 for eggs. Yeah, gas has gone down a little bit. Now I'm also in Illinois, which has a lot of its other bullshit with taxes and stuff, so I'm not really seeing that as much. I know in California that they're getting around $8 a gallon. It's because they're shutting down all the refineries. So yeah, I think the federal government has done a little bit better in that sense, but there's still a lot to be done.
31% now under our leadership. They are all coming down and coming down fast. Democrat politicians also sent the cost of groceries soaring, but we are solving that too. The price of a Thanksgiving turkey was down 33% compared to the Biden last year.
Those are all huge.
The price of eggs is down 80% since March, and everything
82%.
else is falling rapidly.
Wow.
And it's not.
Now, part of that was because there was a supply. I know that there was a bird or a chicken flu or something along that lines that affected the supply chain of that, and so they had to kill a bunch of chickens because of that. Now, whether you believe it or not, I guess you can just leave that up to debate. But there was technically a chicken flu or something along that lines.
Done yet, but boy, are we making progress. Nobody can believe what's going on. Here are just some of the
He has done a
efforts that
lot in
we
his
have
first year,
underway.
I
You
will
will
admit.
see in your wallets and bank accounts in the new year.
I'm not going to be getting
After
money.
years of record-setting falling incomes, our policies are boosting take-home pay at a historic pace. Under Biden, real wages plummeted by $3,000. Under Trump, the typical factory worker has seen a wage increase of $1,300. For construction workers, it's
Can people find jobs? Like again, like he can talk all he want with these numbers. People out of college cannot find jobs. People out of college are struggling to. They're taking a job that's not exactly what they're either doing or what their degree says. Now there's gonna be a lot of people that says that oh they probably got a bullshit degree. Nonetheless, that's not. I don't believe that's necessarily on the student. That should have been on the college for allowing that degree to even happen. The fact that these colleges have bullshit degrees, knowing that there's no success with people finding jobs with those, and they're still publishing them, or they're still allowing people to get degrees in there. So yes, do I believe maybe the economy for jobs is better in some areas? Sure, but we're also seeing record job losses across the board. We're seeing job losses in major tech industries, in gaming. AI replacement is pretty much inevitable at this point. I don't know if Trump's necessarily going to handle that. I don't know how he's going to handle that, but I do think it's interesting that the bureau is no longer, or the bureau, the federal bureau or whatever is no longer publishing the unemployment numbers. We didn't publish last month's, and I don't believe we published this month's either, because if you look at the numbers for the numbers we have, it's gone worse. I believe 55% of kids who graduated last year are still looking for a work, or they have a job that's significantly under what they should be doing. And the people who have jobs right now, companies know that there's a desperation with jobs, so they're totally lowballing these people. Totally getting lowballed. So yeah, maybe they're taking jobs, but they still probably have 2 jobs, 3 jobs. That maybe, which is helping these numbers go up. Again, similar to what Biden was going through. And I think I think COVID definitely kicked the can farther down the road, or kicked it more in advance, got it kind of going. Then you want to add on top of the AI replacement too. So we're just seeing a total slashing in white collar work. Yeah, maybe manufacturing is coming back, which is great. I want to see manufacturing return to America. But we do have to start addressing these issues, and I don't think he's done that very well. But yet again, it's only the first year.
$1,800 for miners. We're bringing back clean, beautiful coal. It's $3,300. And for the first time in years, wages are rising much faster than inflation.
Let's see.
Remember that. The wages, just look at it. Wages are going up much faster than inflation. How big is that? Very importantly, there are more people working today than at any time in American history, and 100% of all jobs created
in the U.S. recently, wages have generally been rising faster than inflation, so many workers' paychecks have gained some real purchasing power, but it's not uniform for everyone. From mid-24 to mid-25, weekly wages grew about 4.2%, while consumer inflation was about 2.7%. So yeah, no, it is faster, meaning wages rose faster than prices in that period. Total compensation, wages plus benefits, increased around 3.6 in quarter 3 in 2024 to quarter 3 in 2025, also above inflation in many months. Real average hourly earnings, wage growth adjusted for inflation, increased modestly about 0.8 year over year as of late 2025, but it's not so simple. Some reports show that not all workers are seeing wage gains above inflation. In some cases, wages are barely keeping up. Purchasing power still lags for many areas. Sector and income levels matter. Higher paid occupations often saw stronger pay gains relative to prices that lowered paid ones. Big picture, broad wages suggest that wages have been climbing a bit faster than inflation in 2024, meaning real inflation adjustment paychecks have grown. but the gap is narrow and uneven for some workers, especially lower wage jobs. Inflation still feels like pulling purchasing power is down. Well, and that's really the issue, is that everyone's like the purchasing power for everyone is gone. Like, it's not just young person specific, right? It can be young person specific with a lot of people graduating college with a bunch of debt and they're trying to find work. They have about 9 months post college to start paying off that debt. Those are these are issues that we need to start tackling. Like I brought up my point with McDonald's earlier. Like I was able to buy more 5 years ago with a shit job than I am able to purchase right now. All my hobbies become more expensive. Like if I remember buying, if I was complaining about comic books at the time for their prices because I'm comparing them to when I was a kid, and when I was a kid they were around anywhere from $2 to $3, right, for a comic book. Now they're about $5 to $6, $4.99 if it's like an ongoing run, but they'll always upcharge the first issue. So comic books have gotten better quality, better everything, but cost is still going up. And that's just a hobby that I buy a lot of books, and I would love to continue to buy more books, but I can't. I've had to cut myself off on some things because I'm like I just can't afford it. It's just too much. And gaming's prices have gone up, or they've tried to increase prices in the gaming. Like we saw that with Outer Worlds 2. Microsoft was saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna make this an $80 flat game or 85 or whatever they said." No one bought it. The pre-orders were so bad that they said, "Okay, we're gonna sell it now at 70." And the game sold pretty well. So we are seeing a fight against it. We know McDonald's numbers are hurting a lot because of it. They totally priced out their customers. Like they got customers used to their pay structure. They got used to the dollar menu. They got used to the items and what they were. Now you're thinking like I can go to Chili's, get a 3 for me. If I got an old timer with cheese with a soup and a drink, remember it's a big burger with fries too. It's about $12. 15 if you want a good tip, 14 if you want to just tip, right? That's not a bad meal. It's dining in. If I go to McDonald's, I'm spending probably around $12 to $14. So now McDonald's is getting compared to, it's no longer cheap, affordable fast food. It's now getting thrown into more of a restaurant, a sit-down restaurant price. And that's where I've actually, if I've gone out to eat, when I was younger, when I was in high school, I used to, go hit the fast food places because they were cheap and affordable. They were usually quick. Now I'll look at Denny's and I'll look at Chili's and I'll look at more of these in-person places because I'm like, well, there's no difference in price anymore. There's no benefit for me going to McDonald's. I hit McDonald's once in a blue moon now, if any. I don't nearly go to them as much as I used to.
Since I took office, have been in the private sector. Think of that. 100% of all jobs have been in the private sector rather than government,
yeah,
which is the only way to make
a
country powerful.
I agree that we need to
this historic
get
trend
better.
Will continue already.
I agree that we need to get better, but at the same time, you're not publishing the unemployment numbers and you're not releasing the Epstein files.
I've secured a record-breaking $18 trillion of investment into the United States, which means jobs, wage increases, growth, factory openings, and far
I'm happy we're getting money.
Security.
Just hope there's not any
Much
consequences to that money.
Has been accomplished by tariffs. My favorite word, tariffs, which for many decades have been used successfully by other countries against us, but
which
not
is true.
Anymore. Companies know that if they build in America, there are no tariffs, and that's why they're coming home to the USA in record numbers. They're building factories and plants at levels we haven't.
In the 90s, life was good. People loved it. And then we sold our entire manufacturing over to China and Mexico. I mean, that we had an opportunity to not let this issue happen. But America had a choice. We could have gone one direction, or we could have gone the other direction. We chose to go towards the direction of becoming more consumer-oriented economy. Nothing wrong with that. We are a buying economy. That's what we do. But we cannot forget manufacturing some key essential industries. I do not believe that we will see like you putting a nut on a bolt or putting a nut on just screwing in a wrench or whatever you want to do, right? We're never going to see those jobs. Like, you're not going to see a $250,000 job, right? And you can talk about gold and being on the gold standard and how that did increase wages for a lot of people. At the same time, you can talk about the 1950s where we saw them tax big corporations, I believe up to 70% or some crazy number like that. So it's interesting to see how America was structured and how people did benefit a lot from it. When we see a relaxation on a lot of these key industries, like people wonder why Chicago's taxes have gone up. Well, it was because we can't tax businesses anymore because they're not there. So now all the problems and all the issues with spending and now fall upon the residents and the citizens to pick up that load that's now being left from because there's no corporations. So there is like you need to have a fair system that you don't want to totally drive out big corporations and business, but at the same time you got to charge them fairly.
Seen AI, automobiles, we're doing what nobody thought was
Yeah, I
even
know. I know.
possible,
I heard
not
Ford's
even
lowering their
remotely
prices too on
possible.
the
There has
trucks, which is a
never,
good thing.
frankly, been anything like it. 1 year ago, our country was dead. We were absolutely dead.
I agree
Our
with that.
country was ready to fail, totally failed. Now,
He's
we're
right.
the hottest country anywhere in the world. And that's said by every single leader that I've spoken to over the last 5 months. Next year,
Yeah, business
you will
is booming in
see
America.
the results of the largest
The
tax
stock
cuts in
market's
American
like it.
history that were really accomplished through our great, big, beautiful bill, perhaps the most sweeping legislation ever passed in Congress. We wrapped 12 different bills up into one beautiful bill. That includes no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. Under these cuts,
Yeah, but what did it do for that's it. So when I hear that, right? I hear all this stuff for seniors, I hear all this stuff for older people, but what about us, the young people? The people who are driving your economy. What are you going to do to help us? And that's how he won this election, was because Gen Z turned out and voted for him. And Gen Z doesn't feel like that he's done enough so far. I mean, I've only seen him invest in other wars and care so much for Israel and sending billions of dollars to Israel. The government was able to send money to a different country, but then they shut down for 4 months. Not 4 months, whatever it was, a month or two. It felt like 4 months. Maybe it was. I don't remember exactly. But the government was shut down for a long time. So you guys couldn't, decide on what to do there, but you guys all unilaterally agreed to fund another country. Like, I'm looking around seeing a lot of Americans struggle, a lot of average people struggle. We all do desperately need money, and I'm not just saying the government just hands money out left and right, but we got to see it somehow return to us in some way, some shape or another. You can't just keep spending, 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 and tell us one thing and then we're not seeing it, right? And this is what Trump does really well. He does do a lot of talking. He does say some of the things that are good, right, that we want to hear. But then he doesn't always follow through with it. And again, I do believe that Trump was the better candidate by a mile compared to Kamala. I literally thought that it was such an obvious choice between the two. Like, Kamala was not good at all. Nothing about her was good. She was a plant. No one even elected her fairly. It was a whole rushed process. Even when you got people like Nancy Pelosi that criticized the whole Democrat process, she was like, it should have been an open forum. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'm agreeing with Nancy Pelosi here. Yeah, it should have been an open floor. They should have allowed a better Democrat candidate to potentially challenge Trump. I mean, it wasn't even a fair fight. I mean, obviously the way the media and the way the polls were, we didn't know, but it wasn't even close the whole time. I mean, it was inevitable that he was going to win.
Many families will be saving between $11,000 and $20,000 a year, and next spring is projected to be the largest tax refund season of all time.
Yeah, I guess when that comes out, we'll wait and see. Hope I get some money from that.
Bill. Tonight, I am also proud to announce that more than 1,450,000.
Just for context, here's a quick little rundown, right? Cut the corporate taxes, cut a corporate tax rate from 35 to 21%. That's a big cut. Goals to make U.S. companies more competitive and encourage investment / job creation in the U.S. Yeah, that's all well good in theory, but it's a lot of trust in the corporations to do that. It's like, you know, there's a little bit of a good faith there that, you know, hey, we throw you guys a bone, throw us a bone, and now we're just seeing every single corporation replace jobs with AI. So I don't know how much that's working so far, but you know, I guess it's still wait to be seen, right? Cut individual income taxes temporarily, lowered most individual tax bracket. Examples: top rate went down from 39.6% to 37. These cuts expire after 2025 unless extended. Double the standard deduction, made filing simpler for people, reduce the number of people itemizing deductions. Yeah, I mean that could help close some fraud. Increase the child tax credit from 1,000 to 2,000 per child. Raise income limits so more middle class families can qualify. Well, yeah, no shit. We should provide way more funding towards middle class. And I don't even think that's enough. I mean, we should be offering like straight up like $100,000 to promote the family unit. Like, hey, here's $100,000, and for every kid you have, so say we just said, okay, we want you to have 4 kids, we'll just knock off 25,000. Well, here's $100,000 towards a home, $100,000 towards really whatever you want to put it towards. Investment for your college or for the kids' college, I don't really care. But we can probably do more. In my opinion, I think we should do more in that department. I would like to see the better development of the family unit. Limited deductions. This upsets some people. SALT deduction capped at 10,000. State and local hit high tax sales or hit high tax states the hardest, like New York, California, New Jersey, and Illinois. Mortgage interest deduction limited for a few new loans. Yeah, again, I don't really. Small businesses and LLCs, sole proprietors get 20% deduction on qualified income. Repeal Obamacare individual mandate penalty. You no longer paid a fine for not having health insurance. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the whole health insurance fucking scam needs to get reorganized. Like, after Obamacare was put together, and health insurance companies made more money. Like, health insurance went up, not down. I mean, and part of that has to get tied in also with immigration as well. Charged international taxation, encouraged companies to bring overseas profits back to the U.S. One-time tax for foreign earnings. Okay. Trade-offs: lower taxes, higher wages and investment, strong business environment, simpler filing for many households. Critics argue it helps corporations and higher earners the most. I do agree with that a little bit. It wasn't as clear cut as it should be. Like, I didn't see a lot there for young people, and I didn't see a lot there for middle class and lower income. Added about 1.5 trillion to the deficit over 10 years. Yeah, like I said, he was supposed to go in there and lower the deficit. And mind you, I did vote for Trump, so I guess I did vote for some of these problems, right? This is what I will obviously be a critic and admit where I don't like, and that's okay. Like, all because you throw a vote at someone, that doesn't mean you gotta be blinded to the fact of some realities. And that's the point. You want to look at some of these things and go, I like it, I don't like it. So then in the next 4 years, you can be more an educated voter and vote on decisions, right? It's all about about trying to get yourself better. And like I said, I still don't believe that Kamala was the better candidate. I really thought that this is an obvious choice. I mean, just cut and dry. I mean, Democrats have done nothing but just hate men. So they got to change that message. Temporarily middle class cuts versus permanent corporate cuts. Yeah, I don't like I do believe that we should be charging corporations a little bit more. I do. I believe if you charge corporations more, that will pick up the slack, so then we don't got to pay as much taxes. Especially with AI. AI needs to be paying their fair share. The fact that the energy cost is so down, or energy cost, is so up, and we have to fork over more money, but they don't have to pay. They get deductions. They can pay. We don't even have to know how much water they're using. Yeah, I don't like the whole AI data centers that are getting built. Large parts of the bill expire in 2025. That's why you hear nonstop debate about extending tax cuts, who it benefits, whether taxes will go up automatically. Interesting.
Think of this: 1,450,000 military service members will receive a special, we call, warrior dividend before Christmas.
That's good.
Warrior dividend. In honor of our nation's founding in 1776, we are sending every soldier $1,776.
That's good.
Think of that. And the checks are already on the way. Nobody understood that one until about 30 minutes ago. We made a lot more money than anybody thought because of tariffs, and the bill helped
Hey, you
us
know what?
along.
I'm okay seeing
Nobody
the boys get
deserves
paid
it
more.
more
They
than our
should.
military, and I say congratulations to everybody. And by the way, we now have record enlistment in our military, and last year we had among the worst recruitment numbers in our military's
People trust
history.
Pete
A lot of
Buttigieg
difference a
and
year
Trump way
makes.
more
In
than they do
addition,
Biden.
I'm doing what no politician of either party has ever done, standing up to the special interests to dramatically reduce the price of prescription drugs. I negotiated directly with the drug companies and foreign nations, which were taking advantage of our country for many decades, to slash prices on drugs and pharmaceuticals by as much as 400, 500, and even 600%. In other words, your drug costs will be plummeting downward. And I used the threat of tariffs to get foreign countries who would never have done it.
I just find it interesting that he had to call it the website. Was it like Trump Health or something? Like it was like literally after his name. But it's a good idea though, nonetheless. But I just think it's interesting. Like the fact that we had countries, and I don't know if it's truly getting fixed with this bill, right? It's again, we're still waiting to see. But it's interesting that we had American companies charging more for certain pills and subscriptions here than they were in Europe. In other parts of the world, they were able to pay. They're paying less. For me, that's just an issue. Like, why are we like what? How do we allow these companies to pretty much fuck over Americans like that? Though that's what I'm saying. I still don't even think the healthcare system is even fixed. It's totally broken. I mean, in a good, perfect world, yeah, the government, we have a universal basic healthcare. I almost said universal basic income, but yeah, we can argue that that should be there too. But in a perfect world, I love to have a universal healthcare. I really do. I think it would be a good thing. I don't know in the current financial situation where we're at and how we're spending if we can even do that because of how broken our welfare state is. It's really broken right now. We're about an 80-20, about 80% capitalism, about 20% socialism. If you break down America like that.
This giant dollar reduction, they stopped ripping us off, and it began as of 4 days ago. There has never been anything like this in the history of our country. Drugs have only gone up, but now they'll be going down by numbers never conceived possible. It's called most favored nation, and no president has ever had the courage or ability to get this done until now.
Okay, so what the Trump's pharma bill actually included: most favored nation drug pricing proposal to tie into Medicare drug pricing to the lowest paid by any other developed country. So it gives us the first, benefit, which, we should be like that anyway. Like we should get the best prices, period. Especially if it's an American company. Come on. Targeted high cost drugs like insulin and cancer meds. Yeah, again, total scam of industries right there. Never fully implemented, but blocked in court, later dropped. What is it? What? Oh, okay. So it was blocked originally, but then it was dropped. Okay. Insulin and EpiPen reforms allowed cheap insulin for community health centers, purchased 35 insulin caps for certain Medicare plans, expanded later under Biden. Oh, see, that was okay. Increased transparency and rebates. Yeah, and that's actually what Trump did in the first term that I liked, is that he pretty much had these healthcare companies have to tell you cost up front. What you're paying for, what you're expected to pay for. Like, they were able to pretty much like help you and then just fork you over with the fat bill, and you would get shocked. Ending the rebate system tried stopping pharmacy benefit managers like PBMs from taking hidden rebates. Goal: lower out-of-pocket costs at the pharmacy counter. Rule was delayed and then later rescinded. Oh, so that got taken out. Right to Try Act of 2018 allowed, because he did bring some things back, I do remember. Allowed terminally ill patients access to experimental drugs, reduced FDA barriers in extreme cases. Drug importations, let states try to import cheaper drugs from Canada. Limited uptake, heavy regulatory hurdles. Pros: lowered prices in theory. Targeted international price disparities would have cut Medicare drug spending if the MFE was fully implemented. Yeah, I wonder why that was not. Hidden middlemen, the PBMs, first administration to openly call out PBMs. That's okay. That's fair enough. Highlighted lack of transparency in drug pricing. Totally agree with that. It's a total joke. Insulin relief. Some real reductions for uninsured and low income patients. Set groundwork for later insulin caps. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If it's something that people need to survive, it should be affordable. And like why are we like same thing as water? Like that shit should be affordable. We all need water to survive. Broad by right to try popular. Broad bipartisan support gave patients more autonomy in the end of life care. Okay. Challenged pharma directly. Trump publicly attacked drug companies. Rare for the GOP president. Yeah, that's true. Usually they're in bed with them. But the pricing front and center policy. Okay. Cons. Most reforms weren't permanent, and that's the many actions were executive orders, not laws, easily reversed or blocked. Yeah, and that's the issue, and that's where you got to blame the GOP there. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to get shit done. Limited real-world impact. Drug prices overall continue raising, just slower. Savings were uneven and often indirect. MMF risk. Critics warn that companies might pull drugs from Medicare, reduce R&D investment. Courts blocked it over legal authority concerns. Yeah, maybe we got to go look into the court system and rework some of that. Drug importation unrealistic. Canada doesn't have enough supply to support the U.S. Very few states successfully implemented it. Yeah, I didn't really understand that one. I thought we were not trying to help out Canada. No comprehensive reforms. It allowed Medicaid to broadly negotiate prices, done later under Biden. Restrict patent law. Break up pharma monopolies. Big picture take. Supporters say that Trump was the first GOP president to seriously confront pharma. He exposed PBMs and global price manipulation. Policies laid groundwork for later reforms. Yeah, I guess hypothetically they could, a future president could take the groundwork here and add more to it and actually make it a little bit better. Critics say that too much talk, not enough lasting laws. Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's the problem with a lot of Trump's policies, that it's mostly done in executive order and not actually done in laws because the GOP doesn't do anything. Reforms were fragmented and legally weak. Real savings come later under different policy structures. Bottom line, Trump's pharma agenda was aggressive in rhetoric, mixed in execution. And that, again, we literally talked about that earlier. Is like he says a lot of the good things, but does he execute it? And limited by the courts and Congress. Again, two total things that are corrupt. The judicial courts need to get totally reworked. Half of those people need to go away to jail. And Congress is a total joke that's bought and paid for by big corporations and foreign entities. So yeah, we do have an issue here. And this is what we were talking about earlier too. That Trump attempts to do stuff and he attempts to get things done, but he gets blocked by literally his own party. Or in this case, the courts as well. He challenged the system, which is true. You got to give credit that he challenged the system, but he didn't totally overhaul it. So, man, that's interesting.
The first of these unprecedented price reductions will be available starting in January through a new website, TrumpRx.gov.
Yeah, the website. This is funny.
Will greatly reduce
that
the
is just
cost
on his. Does he get money for the traffic?
On the gigantic health insurance companies that have gotten rich on billions of dollars of money that should go directly to the people. The money should go to the people. That's
I agree.
So they can buy their own health insurance, which will give far better benefits at much lower costs. It will be far better.
Give people the choice again.
The current Unaffordable Care Act was created to make insurance companies rich. It was bad health care at much too high a cost. And you see that now in the steep increase in premiums being demanded by the Democrats, and they are demanding those increases, and it's their fault. It is not the Republicans' fault. It's the Democrats' fault. It's the Unaffordable Care Act, and everybody knew it. Again, I want the money to go directly to the people so you can buy your own health care. You'll get much better health care at a much lower price. The only losers will be insurance companies, that have gotten rich in the Democrat Party, which is totally controlled by those same insurance companies. They will not be happy, but that's okay with me because you, the people, are finally going to be getting great health care at a lower cost. Another major focus is the cost of energy. For years, the radical left Democrats exploited.
If that happens, then great. I mean, the numbers don't lie to the fact that with the Affordable Care Act, prices did go up. Everything else went up because it wasn't even, it wasn't distributed right. And that's why it's like we either full send healthcare and make it affordable for everyone, or we have to make it better for private citizens to either have a choice. They would rather pay out of pocket and that be cheaper in some cases, or they go down and they pick their own insurance company and let the insurance companies have to give people incentive and reason to actually pick them. Like, there should be a competition side to this as well. Like, if we all have to do car insurance, if we all have to have health care, there should be choices to that. It shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be expensive. I'm paying hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars a year to insurance, right? Just for when I'm actually sick, or say if I need a surgery, they can turn me down. They can deny me. They can say, oh yeah, it's actually this. We're only going to give you X amount of dollars. It's like, well, why didn't I just save that money instead? I could have saved all the money that I'd be giving them. Instead, I have to pay for insurance because of laws and rules that say I need insurance, and then yet you can deny me coverage. Does that make sense?
The green energy scam as an excuse to funnel many billions of dollars into their own massive slush funds, as their energy restrictions
green energy has been such a
drove
joke.
Up prices, and they drove them up at record levels.
It's ruined California.
Electricity costs surged 30 to 100% under Biden, and the typical family lost $5,000 to $10,000 in higher energy costs. Think of that, $5,000 to $10,000 you lost. On day one, I declared a national energy emergency. Gasoline is now under $2.50 a gallon in much of the country. In some states, it, by the way, just hit $1.99 a gallon.
That's crazy. That's some pre-COVID pricing.
Months, we will have
or COVID.
1,600 new electrical generating plants, a record, and it's a record that won't be beaten by practically, I would say, by anybody, or certainly not.
I love how he hypes himself up.
On electricity
it's so
and everything
funny.
else will fall dramatically. The Democrat inflation disaster, again, the worst in the history of our country, also robbed millions of Americans of home ownership and indeed the American dream.
They definitely played a factor in it, and it all goes back to when we bailed the banks out. Like, one of them was BlackRock, if I'm not mistaken, or one of the big hedge funds like that. Like, we never should have done that. Like, why? Like, if we got to let these companies fail, if they want to spend recklessly and fuck up the economy, let them fail. We bailed them out, and then they turn around and bought all the family homes. Like, that's what people want. People want to see Trump go in there and just say, okay, stop doing that. Okay, let's get these deportations up. Okay, let's do this. And it's not really happening. It is and it isn't.
The yearly cost of a typical new mortgage increased by $15,000 under Democrat rule.
There's not enough houses being built.
In 11 months, we've already gotten that annual cost down by $3,000, and it's coming down a lot lower. Wait till you see. The numbers are going to be shocking. And I'll soon announce our next chairman of the Federal Reserve, someone who believes in lower interest rates by a lot, and mortgage payments will be coming down even further. Early the new year, and you will see this, in the new year, I will announce some of the most aggressive housing reform plans in American history.
Okay.
Major factor in driving up housing costs was the colossal border invasion. We have never...
That was true. I mean...
Never been invaded. This is...
We've had so many, and this is where it does tie in the H-1B visas as well. Like, immigrants, H-1B visas, we're now competing with them. We're competing with other Americans. We're competing with people who are coming over and they're buying vacation homes. There's just so much competition in America for homes, and there's not enough supply for those homes. There's the construction regulations in parts of California and stuff are ridiculous. You got to get like 9,000 permits to do anything. I believe in San Francisco they can't build like single-family homes or just single-family homes. Like, they have to build like total loopholes with all that stuff, and to even try to get around that. So yeah, if we can go after and cut some of these like try to get cost of materials down, try to cut regulation in certain industries, then we can easily see the boom in houses getting built for affordable. Remember, this is going to fail if it's not focused on affordability.
The worst thing,
but him addressing
frankly,
this now is actually huge. About time he's addressing
this. The
this.
Biden administration did to our country is the invasion at the border. The last administration and their allies in Congress brought in millions and millions of migrants and gave them taxpayer-funded housing. While
Doesn't
your
make
rent
sense.
And housing
like, look at Illinois. Like, we gave $500 million in 1 year to immigrants. I believe Chicago did. And Chicago's wonder why their deficit is at $1.2 billion and why we can't afford anything and why we can't do anything in the city. But yet, we as citizens are seeing Chicago go from this beautiful town to now there's a bunch of immigrants everywhere, which is fine if they're actually, like, doing stuff and they're being productive. If they're just doing nothing and they're getting paid for by the government, they're staying in these 5-star hotels, they're getting 3 meals a day, they're getting $500 a week. Fuck, why would I do anything if I was getting $500 a week plus 3 meals a day and housing and clothing? I wouldn't do anything either. So the fact that we even have these systems in place to begin with was so fucking stupid. It made no sense. The fact that we even continued it for as long as we did, and we're still continuing it in some parts. Like, that's where he's 100% right on. That there's plenty of these issues with immigration, and we've allowed too much. And we need to cut back. And I know it's so easy for one to take this and say, you're against all. Well, I'm only against, I would rather have, the high skilled labor, the people who are going to come over here and actually be pro our country. Fundamentally. Like, if you should be coming over here, you should be pro our country. You should be pro wanting to benefit our system, not just constantly take from it. My grandparents, my great-grandparents, when they came over here, there was no handouts. No handouts from the government. They had to work for everything they did. Now, totally different. We probably would have been richer now. I mean, I'm not rich. I'm broke as fuck. Why do you think I'm doing YouTube? I'm trying to do other avenues to make money. But we probably would have had more money if we're talking generational, right? Going back. So yeah, maybe my family would have more money if they had an easier start in life. Who fucking knows? Maybe there is benefits to helping out immigrants right away. But we're using a bunch of tax-paying money for it. And I'm still seeing homeless military veterans and homeless people in general, people who are on drug problems, who are not seeing rehabilitation. We are letting criminals walk freely amongst us. No one's going to jail. We have immigrants coming over, committing problems, committing crime, and we're not holding them accountable. So many people are on overstayed visas that we were just letting be here. That's where he's 100% right on, where the federal government failed us.
Skyrocketed. Over 60% of growth in the rental market came from foreign migrants. At the same time,
that's not good. We're competing, and they're willing to pay for anything, especially when they're getting all the money from the government.
Education paid for by you, the American taxpayer. They also increased the cost of law enforcement by numbers so high that they are not even to be mentioned. For the first time in 50 years, we are now seeing reverse migration as migrants go back home.
And by the way, if you look at the numbers, we were actually doing that same thing from like the 1950s all the way up until, I believe, when Obama kind of changed it, or at least a little bit under Bush, but mostly under Obama. We had net negative immigration numbers. Like, we had more people leaving the country than they were coming here. And you would argue that was probably one of America's most prosperous times. The 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. Economically, a great time to be an American. You're literally the right place, right time. Could not have been in any better part right here in American history.
Leaving more housing and more jobs for Americans. In the year before my election, all net creation of jobs was going to foreign migrants. Since I took office, 100% of all net job creation has gone to American-born citizens. 100%. In the end, government either serves the productive, patriotic, hardworking American citizen, or it serves those who break the laws, cheat the system, and seek power and profit at the expense of our nation. Look at Minnesota, where Somalians have taken over the economics of the state. and have stolen billions and billions of dollars from Minnesota and indeed from the United States of America. And we're going to put an end to it. For so long as before my election, the vast majority of...
See, if Trump, if you're going to be talking about all this fraud, actually hold people accountable. Like, if there is fraud there, like, I want to see, like, any politician, any judge, any lawyer, any person who helped participated in this that was American, we need to see them held accountable. He needs to start doing that, holding these politicians and big NGOs and corporations. We need to hold them all accountable. Point
good and
blank.
decent Americans were forced to watch as corrupt politicians plundered the halls of power, exploited our taxpayers, and pillaged every system that makes civilized society function. But not anymore, and you see that every day, not anymore. We're putting America first, and we are making America great again. Very simple. We are making America great again. Tonight, after 11 months, our border is secure. Inflation is stopped. Wages are up. Prices are down. Our nation is strong. America is respected, and our country is back, stronger than ever before. We're poised for an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen. Soon we will host the World Cup and the Olympics, both of which I got. But most importantly, we will celebrate the 250th anniversary of...
So it's true that the native-born employment has increased recently, while foreign-born employment has dipped in official data, partly due to fewer immigrants in labor force. But saying 100% of the job creation went only to native-born citizens doesn't really accurately reflect how employment statistics work, considering that the false or misleading claim. So what's the number? So yeah, no, it was saying that the data shows employment among native-born was increased in recent months as employment among foreign-born workers fell. Raw claim that all net job growth went to the U.S. citizens ignores several important realities. Government numbers do not distinguish citizen status, only natively born in the U.S. versus foreign-born, so you can't cleanly say citizens versus non-citizens. The category foreign-born includes naturalized citizens and legal immigrants, so part of the job still may go to U.S. citizens who are foreign-born.
The Declaration of Independence, there could be no more fitting tribute to this epic milestone than to complete the comeback of America that began just 1 year ago. When the world looks at us next year, let them see a nation that is loyal to its citizens, faithful to its workers, confident to its identity, certain to its destiny, and the envy of the entire globe. We are respected again like we have never been respected before. To each and every one of you, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. God bless you all.
Have a Merry Christmas. Yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely some things that I liked of what he said. We obviously went through some of the things that were I was like soft fact checking, not, I was looking, I was like, oh, if I heard something interesting, I would look it up just to kind of talk about it. But no, I mean, look, he mentioned stuff about the housing crisis, right? That's good. That's something, right? So if he can maybe fix that, that's good. If we see the job number and the unemployment numbers, if we actually see them, that can help us bring up more topic and how the economy is really doing. I would like to see, if we take out the big seven corporations, specifically the tech firms, like I would like to see that part of the real meat and potatoes of the stock market grow, because you really haven't seen a lot of that. Overall, I do like a lot of the messaging when it comes to him trying to get America to be more like, let's be proud to be American. I do like a lot of that. So overall, yeah, I mean, I do think we're sitting in a better place than we were under Biden, for sure. I mean, and again, that mainly comes down to how he's dealt with immigration and the immigration numbers. Now that the courts have ruled in his favor, we're going to probably see an uptake in those numbers. He'll actually be able to go after them. And again, the label Trump's administration as this huge success, I want to see people held away for accountability. I want to see accountability. I want to see, you can argue that, oh, well, Trump and all of his things. Look, the courts tried, the system tried to go after him, and it didn't work. So that doesn't mean we still can't go over. I want to see the Pam Bondi and them actually go after Trump deportation after like go after these deportations, go after corrupt politicians who supported all this crap. We should see accountability across the board. But I will agree, the one thing that we have not seen is the Trumpstein files. But you know what? They could have released it again. This is a great point. Why didn't the 46 files and why didn't 46 files or why didn't 46 release the files in 4 years? Yeah, that's true. That's what I'm saying. If Trump was if there was something that crazy about Trump in the files, we would have already seen it. It would have already known. But yeah, again, this is something that he's failing on. The fact that when he tried going in there and lying to us about this, like, this is creating a topic of conversation that didn't need to be there. He should have gone in there, just signed the paperwork to release the files. That's what people wanted him to do, and he hasn't yet. So we're still waiting. He will this Friday. I don't know how. I don't know how true that is. Arrest George Soros and company. Yeah, we should look into George Soros. How are you doing? Give someone a medal, please. I remember when Joe couldn't figure his way out of the closet. Trump takes questions. Biden was too scared to. Yeah. Release the files. Yep. Went from 2 million to 25 million now. Biden's delusion syndrome. Biden derangement syndrome. Trump dumbass. What? Trump is the weapon of mass destruction. Like, this is what the brainwashed. If Trump accidentally knocked over the podium, he would blame Biden. Hmm. Jesus, he couldn't say America right. Good evening, American. LMAO. Jesus, we're screwed. I don't know. See, I don't see how, like, even when I was under Biden, I didn't even feel like that America was going to end. I don't understand how people view that. Trump bro can't get Biden out of his head. Bro, they did have like this love relationship that we don't even know about. I'm not even saying just sexually or anything like that. I'm just mainly referring to, I mean, we don't know. Maybe they're in the Epstein files. We don't know how that shit is. But you could definitely tell that Trump and Biden had a little bit of a bromance. When they were talking about that golf swing, that shit was so funny. Everything good Trump's doing, everything bad's Biden's fault. LOL. Well, I mean, it's technically that's how the last. I mean, you're going to look at the last administration and you're going to, criticize it. He did the same thing under Obama. It's no different. And you know what? Biden blamed Trump for everything. So it happens, just how it is. 20 years later, still be Obama and Biden's fault. Well, they've done a lot. Yeah, again, this is a great point. Yeah, that's what it was like during Biden. All you heard that it was Trump's fault. People need to wake up and see how they're manipulating us. That's very true. It's a very true statement. Yeah, guys, so if you guys like more of these videos, you want to see more of these types of reactions from me, I'll be more than happy to do them. Be more than happy to talk more about these. Oh, I really find this interesting. I try to be objective and fair when I'm watching this, and there's some things that are just plain and obvious, clear as day, and there's other things that we got to look into and do some quick research on, which is always good. But yeah, if you guys like more of these videos, you like the content, you like about it, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment. Subscribe. Always appreciate the love and support. If you guys have any what your thoughts and questions are about this, and you just want to talk, let me know. I'll be more than happy to. Like I said, I like kind of debating with people about this, all in good faith. I like hearing what other people have to say about this, because it's interesting. So, all right, guys, appreciate it. Appreciate you guys taking time here. So, like I said, support the channel if you guys do. All right, this video is going on long enough, and I feel bad. So, all right, have a good one.